What's up, people of the internet and of YouTube? Hi. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Independence Corner. Today, we will learn what a constitutional republic is. Because you hear this word democracy, 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 when we do not live in a democracy. And I hear some people saying it, and some people just don't understand. But I'm not going to take this. I'm going to continue doing research on this. But this is one of the oldest pieces that you can find, that I found on the internet, that explains what a democracy and a constitutional republic is. Okay, let's get into it. 1966, April 8th. Let's do it.
A constitutional republic, not a democracy. The ideal of a democracy is universal equality. The ideal of a constitutional republic is individual liberty. A democracy always degenerates into dictatorship, which promises government-guaranteed equality and security, but it delivers nothing but poverty and serfdom for the people it robs and rules. America was founded as a constitutional republic to safeguard the liberties of the people against the tyranny of democracy or of one-man dictatorship. In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic into a democracy. The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, the totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of our principles of government.
See, right there, right there. And this is what we have in today. Donald Trump is a threat to our democracy. Everyone that does this is a threat to our democracy. So it's people that don't know what a constitutional republic is will be claiming a democracy. Well, he's a threat to our democracy. Well, learn what it is first, okay? You're taking talking points from this and from that. Do not take talking points. You have to learn what the meaning of something is. Come to your own conclusion before you can spew or take anybody's word. Don't take mine. Don't take my word for nothing, okay? Because I'm not telling you what things are or what it is. I'm just simply stating my opinion, okay? So if you want to take it as I'm telling you what to do, that's on you. But I'm telling you, I'm giving you an opinion. So just do what you wish.
That is a summary of my report on a constitutional republic, not a democracy. The full report after a message from my sponsor. A democracy is a political system in which the people periodically, by majority vote at the polls, select their rulers. The rulers then have absolute power to make whatever laws they please by majority vote among themselves. In a constitutional republic, the people also, by majority vote at the polls, select rulers who make laws by majority vote among themselves. But the rulers cannot make any laws they please because the Constitution severely restricts their lawmaking power. The ideal of a democracy is universal.
And this is why some people want to get rid of certain things in the Constitution. Like when it goes to the misinformation, disinformation can easily slip into First Amendment. Okay? So let's get rid of that disinformation, misinformation, and let people decide how they want to perceive things. Like now, as you're watching this, you can perceive it how you want to. You can take it how you want to. You can do your own research. You can take it for face value. You can take it for top, bot, however you want to do it. That is the freedom that you have. Don't listen to me. You don't have to. Okay? I'm just here to give my opinion, my thoughts. Just as you have that right.
Universal equality. The ideal of a constitutional republic is individual liberty. In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic and transforming it into a democracy. The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of American principles of government. Note the following passages from a recent article distributed by the New York Times News Service. Quote, "In the United States and in other leading democracies, recent years have seen perceptible growth in executive authority. As society becomes more equalitarian, it tends increasingly to concentrate absolute power in the hands of one single man. This is a voluntary surrender of a free people escaping from freedom to one autocratic master." End quote. And note the following from Gunnar Myrdal's An American Dilemma, quote, "In America, liberty often provided an opportunity for the stronger to rob the weaker. Against this, the equalitarianism in the American creed has been persistently revolting. And in the conflict between equality and liberty, equality is slowly winning. In America, conservatism has to a great extent been perverted into a cult of the Constitution. This is unfortunate, since the Constitution is in many respects impractical and ill-suited for modern conditions. The worship of the Constitution is also a most flagrant violation of the American creed. The Constitutional Convention was nearly a plot against the common people." End quote. Now, Gunnar Myrdal, a Swedish socialist.
Wow. Do your research, people. Do your research.
Was hired by the Carnegie Corporation of New York in 1937 to direct a study of the Negro in the United States. He engaged a large staff, some of them communists and pro-communists. An American Dilemma resulted, first copyrighted in the United States in 1944. In 1954, the Supreme Court handed down a school segregation decision, which deliberately violated the Constitution, reversed a previous Supreme Court decision, and lit a fuse touching off explosive violence, which has been shattering our society ever since. The court cited An American Dilemma as one of the modern authorities on which it relied in preference to the Constitution for justification of its decision. An American Dilemma, written by a Swedish socialist, provided a basic rationale for the conversion of our free republic into an equalitarian democracy. Myrdal contends that the American Declaration of Independence, 1776, proclaimed the ideal of an equalitarian democracy because it contains the phrase, "all men are created equal." 11 years later, the Constitution created not a democracy founded on the ideal of equality, but a republic founded on the ideal of liberty. This is why Myrdal says the Constitutional Convention was nearly a plot against the common people. But he and those who parrot his ideas are either ignorant or dishonest. The Constitution was ordained specifically to safeguard the principles of liberty proclaimed by the Declaration of Independence.
Go back and read. I have to learn some things in this. I have to go read, study some more. I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. So, but this is what you call education, educating yourself. It's reading and learning certain things and taking angles and looking at things in a different angle, not what someone can just tell you because what they believe in. That is not educational. If someone tells you something and it's something that they believe in, they only believe in it. They don't research it. They don't educate themselves in it, and they're not informed in it. That's not education. It's not. So just do your own research and come to your own conclusions.
The Declaration's phrase, "all men are created equal," means that men are equal before the law and before the Creator, regardless of their inequality in human society. The Declaration says that men are endowed with unalienable rights, and that the purpose of government is to secure these rights. The unalienable rights of man enumerated in the Declaration of Independence do not include equality, but they do include liberty, along with life and pursuit of happiness. Equality of all men in the eyes of God and before the law is a condition essential to freedom, but no other kind of equality is possible. Government efforts to achieve material equality will produce crushing tyranny, but will not make people equal. The writers of the Constitution were anxious to safeguard liberty against dictatorship, monarchy they called it, but their chief anxiety was to protect the country against democracy. Edmund Randolph, delegate to the Constitutional Convention from Virginia, said the general object of the convention was to provide a cure for the follies and fury of democracy. Elbridge Gerry and Roger Sherman, delegates from Massachusetts and Connecticut, urged the Constitutional Convention to create a system to eliminate the evils that flow from the excess of democracy. Alexander Hamilton, delegate.
If you look at everything that's going on now, every time that you hear the word democracy, look what follows behind it, or look what is before they come to the word, look, this is against our democracy. What is against our democracy? Okay, so if there is something against the democracy, go and research that certain thing that they're saying is against the democracy, and where is that lie? Okay, now, is this just talking points they're making? This is just talking points they're making. Okay, just follow the words. Follow your own conclusion.
From New York said, "We are now forming a Republican government. Real liberty is not found in democracy. If we incline too much to democracy, we shall soon shoot into a monarchy." John Adams, one of the giants of the American Revolutionary period, said, "Democracy will envy all, contend with all, endeavor to pull down all. And when by chance it happens to get the upper hand for a short time, democracy will be revengeful, bloody, and cruel." Speaking of pure democracy, in which the people by majority vote act as their own lawmakers, instead of electing representatives to make laws, James Madison said, "Such democracies have ever been incompatible with personal security or the rights of property. A republic promises the cure for which we are seeking." Madison, known as the father of the Constitution, knew and said that enlightened men will not always be at the helm of government to serve as proper guardians of the public weal. He knew that unlimited political power cannot safely be entrusted to the nation's elected representatives, to use as a majority of them see fit, because, he said, a majority of a group of men is far more likely to be tyrannical than one man is. In a democracy, if a majority should develop hatred for all blue-eyed babies and order them eliminated, the babies could be legally executed, because whatever a majority wants at any given moment is supreme law of the land.
That is dangerous. Now, I don't know how many people that's made it this far, but if you made it this far and you understand what he's talking about, that is dangerous. We do not live in a democracy. If we keep it up, we will live in a democracy, but we are in a constitutional republic. And I've said that for years. And when I hear, every time I hear, oh, it's our democracy and our democracy, even people that don't know, and it's like people you agree with. And it's like, yeah, I agree with everything they're saying, but it's like, yes, the democracy. Do you know, or are you part of wanting a democracy? Because, you know, the document, the Constitution of the United States that we have is the only thing that is protecting us from dictatorship, from a democracy, and from tyranny and all that other stuff that a lot of other countries have. We don't understand the freedoms that we have because we have not been anywhere else. Those that have not been anywhere, lived anywhere else, and then came back here and said, wow. But it's getting bad, and we have to restore the way of life the way it's supposed to be for America. What that entails is up to us as a collective. Not just one person, not just one side of we thinking, okay, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, and I don't agree with it, or you don't agree with it. You may not agree with what I'm saying now, but we have to actually talk about this to come to a conclusion, to figure out what the way of life needs to be restored to. The way of life may not even need to be restored, but as far as the Constitution, look at that and see if we are living up to those standards.
A democracy. How can liberty be safeguarded against the mindless, soulless tyranny of majority rule when government is founded on the principle of majority rule? Jefferson answered that one, "In questions of power, let no more be heard of confidence in man, but bind him down from mischief by the chains of the Constitution." In short, America was founded not as a democracy, but as a constitutional republic. We pledge allegiance to the republic for which our flag stands, not to a democracy. The Constitution requires a republican form of government for all states, but
I say that. And in some instances, I've heard they want to take the Pledge of Allegiance out. I have a joke. Okay, I'm going to say the joke. Okay, I said, why do they want to take the Pledge of Allegiance out of the schools? You say, why? I say, because it's to the Republic. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it. But I always say that.
But does not mention democracy, and neither does the Declaration of Independence or the Bill of Rights. The Constitution is a binding contract, enumerating limited powers which the federal government can legally exercise, prohibiting it from exercising any powers not granted in the contract. It denies federal officials the power to do whatever they claim to be necessary for the general welfare. Federal action not clearly authorized by the Constitution is illegal, even if approved by an overwhelming majority of the people, because all the elastic powers of government are left with the states. Ultimate power to change the organic structure of government was left with the people, but the means of making changes, amending the Constitution, were carefully prescribed to militate against hasty, unwise decisions by the people. As Benjamin Franklin left the State House in Philadelphia on the closing day of the Constitutional Convention, a woman asked him what kind of government the convention had given America, and Franklin replied, a republic, if you can keep it. Very old and very wise, Franklin saw through the mists of time to the day when Americans might trade their freedom in a constitutional republic for the promise of government guaranteed equality and security in a democracy. And beyond that, to the day when democracy inevitably degenerates into dictatorship, guaranteeing nothing but poverty and serfdom for the people it robs and rules. The American constitutional system, unique in history, enabled Americans to develop a backward continent into the most magnificent nation of all time. The system was designed to prevent both tyranny by government and reckless rebellion by the people. We must restore it and keep it. And what can you do toward that end? Your job, you who care and understand, is to help educate others. I suggest that you might find a subscription to my report helpful. The Dan Smoot report, on which these broadcasts are based, is sent every week through the mails and will reach you long before the broadcast does. It contains documentation and details I cannot put on the broadcast. You can read it, make up your own mind, pass it on to others. I think it may be an effective tool for you to use to help educate and activate others. And only by this means can we restore our republic.
So,
the ideal of a constitution.
The only thing that we have that is fact, 100% fact, is the document of the Constitution. Okay? That you can't say, well, the Constitution doesn't say this, it doesn't say that. Well, just read it and see it, what it is, and interpret it however it's supposed to be interpreted. You can tell the way it's interpreted by the laws that were created throughout time ever since the Constitution was created. So if you are unsure of how a meaning of something is supposed to be in the Constitution, you can follow the laws that come behind that amendment or article or whatever it is that you're trying to read out of the Constitution. Just follow the laws that govern that section. Okay, so, but that's just an opinion for me to give to you to help you educate yourself on this topic. Okay, so do as you will with what information that I have supplied you today. Come to your own conclusion, leave it alone, don't learn about it, do whatever you wish to it. And I will be back. Make sure you subscribe and we will find more things to do. And make sure you leave a comment down in there. What your favorite thing about the video was, what you didn't like about the video. Even if you don't agree with me, you can put that down in there. It's fine. You have absolute right to not agree with me. So you can do that as you wish. So, but make sure you share this video to help others, with more information on their own. The more information that we have, the more that we can come to our own conclusion. But long as we do it together, we are all right. We are all right. We'll be on the same side as long as we share information, we're on the same side. I'm not going to tell you what to believe in, and I don't expect you to tell me what to believe in. If we're sharing the same information, then we will grow together and we will come to a conclusion together and understand. We will help understand each other. Okay? Stay independent.